NEH supports research, education, and public outreach by funding universities, museums, historical sites, libraries, and state humanities councils. It was set to provide around $75 million in grants that would have flowed to nearly every single congressional district across this country. IMLS's mission is to increase public access to this knowledge. These very modest funds help organizations big and small preserve our local, regional, and national heritage and shape public understanding of what it means to be human and to be an American. Humanists, museum workers, and librarians scare the Trump administration so much because we are helping our compatriots develop a more accurate picture of our history and heritage and to increase Americans' exposure to ideas produced by people from backgrounds different from theirs. This awareness opens up a more critical conversation about our past and suggests a way forward towards a more equitable future. The new Trump-installed director of IMLS vowed to restore the agency's focus on patriotism, and I'm using scare quotes for those of you who can't see me, and relentlessly promote American exceptionalism. Is it not patriotic to be honest about our nation's past? To seek to serve all citizens and residents and not just a few? To endeavor to repair the harms caused by previous generations as a means of avoiding complicity and guilt, rather than being weighed down by the constant work of needing to pretend that bad things never happened? Shouldn't we celebrate diversity rather than pretending it doesn't exist? I think so. There are important lessons in this for all of us, whether you're a humanist, a scientist, or an educational worker. First and foremost, all knowledge is deeply political, not just as content, but also in terms of the ability to produce it. That's why the Trump administration is working so hard to destroy our universities. Thank you. The second lesson is that the only way to be true to our mission and values is to resist efforts to co-opt our work and our institutions in every possible way. The minute we begin to modify our language, our theoretical frameworks, our research goals, or our diversity efforts, the fascists have won. Why? Because the fascist solution to dealing with our most pressing social problems is to eliminate evidence that these problems exist, whether that means making it impossible to access information or actually eliminating the people in institutions who study these problems. We must resist this fascist government with all of our might. Thank you.
We know that DEI programs are designed to ensure that all individuals have equal access to rights, opportunities, and progress, and by dismantling systemic barriers and providing robust support, DEI programs actually are creating and cultivating environments where merit and talent truly can shine. So these were strategic initiatives to combat discrimination. We're not discriminating against other people by engaging in diversity, equity, and inclusion. We are creating opportunities for all people. Some claim that diversity, equity, and inclusion promotes division and divisiveness. Is this true? No. Absolutely not. We know that the whole purpose behind DEI was to bring people together, to create environments where our students can engage with one another, learn from each other's unique backgrounds and differing perspectives. We know that that's what creates an institution where we can have critical dialogue and discourse about things where we may not always agree, but we learn from each other's differences. This is a critical aspect of higher education. We cannot let them take that away from us. Some have also stated that DEI programs are no longer necessary because we live in a post-racialist society. Is that true? Yes, sir. I won't say that, but you're exactly right. That is not true. Unfortunately, that is not true. And anywhere that we look, we can see significant disparities from the underrepresentation of students and faculty of color in institutes of higher education to the consistent and persistent gender pay inequities to disparities in being able to access health care, and positive health outcomes, to challenges even on our own campus with universal design and lack of accessibility in our classrooms and around campus. and the wealth gaps. The list goes on, and in the absence of DEI programs, those challenges are only going to grow far worse. We've seen New York school system, yes, fight back. We've seen the University of California systems fight back. We've seen Harvard University stand up to the federal government. They have said, we are not willing to risk our science, our academic freedom, our diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. This means more to us. This is our core values and beliefs, and we're willing to put billions of dollars on the line in order to stand up for what we believe in. So right now, the question isn't which other universities are going to stay silent or comply. The question is which universities are going to stand up, which are going to stand in solidarity, which universities are going to fight back. Because now is not the time for silence. Now is not the time for complicity. Now is not the time for fear. Now is the time for us to stand up, for us to stand on the values and beliefs that we had stated for decades that we believe in, to stand up for our values, to pull together all of our resources and say we are not willing to give up our autonomy. We are not willing to give up our congressional rights, and we are going to stand on those beliefs now and for the future. Solidarity forever.
I have heard from hundreds of my coworkers. They are feeling vulnerable. They are feeling alone. And they are looking to us, our union, to help protect them in these dangerous times. If there's one thing I've learned from all the conversations I've had with my coworkers, it's that this is not new. The tactics that the Trump administration and his allies are using to target academic freedoms, freedom of speech, diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, and international graduate students across the country are the same tactics that universities have mobilized against grads for decades. The issues that mobilized grad workers to fight for and win our union included things like funding uncertainty, like visa insecurities, like gutting our health care, like lack of support for transgender and students of color, and police intimidating, harming, and arresting students exercising their right to free speech on this campus. The federal government is targeting these same areas in its crusade against academia, and this is no coincidence. Slashing essential funding sources, including NIH and NSF grants, demanding that universities comply with their anti-DEI and fascist agenda, and using university records to illegally seize international students and imprison or deport them with no due process, are all strategies that echo and amplify the ways universities have tried to keep graduate workers silent and compliant. The good news is, we have never stayed silent. Students and faculty across the world have been at the forefront of so many movements for liberation and divestment, risking our careers, our physical safety, and sometimes our lives to demand that institutions of power do better for us and for our communities. And that's what you're all doing here today. This moment is no different. Those of us who are here today, those of us who gathered for the March for Science, and those of us who continue to march for Palestinian liberation, we are ready to meet this moment. Because we know when we fight, we win. 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 That's right. In such genuinely terrifying times, it's easy to wish that things could just go back to the way they were. It's easy to say that even if things weren't perfect, at least they weren't this bad. But we know that repair is not return. We are in this mess because our system is broken. It has been broken. The fascist regime in the White House is partially a result of the fact that money and power have been accumulated by the few at the expense of the many across industries, including academia. You already know this. You know this because you, like me, like my coworkers and my comrades across the country, unionized to achieve systemic change in this balance of power, starting with our working conditions. A return to the status quo cannot be all we are fighting for. Instead, it's up to us to use this moment, to use our collective power to achieve systemic change. To ensure that no one needs to fear abduction when exercising their rights to free speech and assembly. To ensure that diversity is actively celebrated and protected through policies that provide concrete, equitable pathways for inclusion. To insist that our campuses are safe places to work and teach for everyone, regardless of visa status. And to facilitate the research that we are all producing that is changing this world for the better. Power has always rested in the hands of the people. It's time for us to rise up and use it. Thank you.
All right, y'all, I feel like we're a couple months into this, so we know the routine. I feel like being here, especially on a college campus, I know that there's nobody else who knows better than you all what we're up against right now. So I struggle to decide when I'm like, what do I talk about? Should I talk about the things that have been going on? Because I know that you all know what Trump and Elon Musk and Doge and other authoritarians are doing to you, to us, to our country. I know that you all know about the NIH cuts, but maybe we are not thinking about it. Maybe we need to talk about it. Maybe we need Trump to understand what America's real power comes from. Because why would anybody who believes in America being great say that we don't believe in research? We don't believe in America being at the forefront of curing cancer or Alzheimer's or creating the next societies. Why would anybody who says that they believe in America attack education? We all know that education is the cornerstone of democracy. So anybody who would attack education is telling you to your face that they don't believe in democracy. So we only have one thing that we must do, and we must respond in kind. There's enough of wondering what he wants to do or where he wants to take us. We don't have to wonder anymore. We know from his attacks on public education and free speech. We know from his attack on students, whether they're homegrown or come here because they want to bring their brilliance to America. We know that those attacks shows us what he wants to do. We know from his attacks on Medicaid or Social Security or SNAP benefits that he doesn't care about our seniors. We know from his attacks on our veterans and vet care that he doesn't care about our vets. We know about his attacks on infrastructure and climate. Does he care about our future? So, again, I know that you know what we're up against, but I'm actually here to remind you that they don't know what they're up against. They don't know what they're up against. Because we know that the reason why one of the first things he went to attack is public education and union rights, because he knows that an organized labor workforce is the greatest threat to an authoritarian. So right now, our solidarity is the strongest weapon that we have. Right now, our education and our institutions that lift up all people, that give all people an opportunity at hope and prosperity in this country are the greatest weapons we have. So I'm here to say that if we want to stop the attacks on our education system, on our research, if we want to stop the attacks on our unions, then we need to lean in right now more than we ever have. We need to make sure that we're getting our union staff, our workers, our colleagues, our family members ready to go. Because I know, and you ask me a lot, what are we doing? What's your house doing? What's your house rep doing or your senator doing? And we're going to fight like hell. And I'm sorry for the kids. I got kids who look up to us. But we're going to fight with everything that we have. Know that when we're in D.C. and we talk about how important NIH cuts mean to Western Pennsylvania and Pennsylvania as a whole, you don't have to worry. We will lift that up every single day until every dime is restored, until the threat has passed. We will fight there in those halls. We know that we are in guerrilla warfare right now. Every day is a battle, but I'm strongest because you guys are in my corner. When I have organized people who are backing me, I don't come as one representative of 435. I come of one of 755,000 people who don't want Donald Trump's America, but who wants to build an America that's better than anything we have seen. And these institutions are where we do that building. So we won't stand by and let him attack our education system. We won't stand by and let him attack our unions, because we understand that we are more than them. The many are mightier than the mighty. The power of the people is still greater than the people in power, but only if we wield it. But only if we wield it. So I'm asking you today, when people ask me what are the checks and the balances as we're seeing unprecedented attacks, unprecedented power grabs, unprecedented actions, unconstitutional actions, what is the final fail-safe? And I'm gonna tell you that we will fight every day till 2026 to plan. We want gavels, we want the majority, we want to be able to stop them. But whether or not as Democrats are not in power, the final fail-safe in democracy is you, the people. It is we, the people. It is organized people. It is our labor. It is our unity. It is our solidarity. So we need to fight every day. I need you to fight with us. So what can we do? We need you to go into your union halls, and we need you to get your members ready. We need you to make sure and become a sacred place of good information in this era of disinformation. Because there are so many people who don't understand what the Department of Education or what NIH funding does. They don't understand the power of a union. We need to let them know right now, because time is ticking. And we need them to be ready. We need you to combat so much of the hatred that they are experiencing and fight the urge to go into the silos that they want you to go into. Because if you're fighting for free speech for college students, well, how do you do that if you're worried about your Medicaid? Well, if you're worried about your Medicaid and you want to fight, how do you worry and fight for that if you're worried about being deported on today? And if you're worried about being deported on today, how can you worry about cancer research? They want us to silo ourselves off. Solidarity tells us to come better, to come together, to come closer together than we've ever been. Solidarity tells us that we are the final fail-safe in democracy, that we have power to wield here. So this is just a start. Every day, we're still in quarter one. I keep telling everybody, we are still in quarter one. I'm telling you that it's worth fighting through every single quarter right now. And I'm going to leave us on this one, because people ask me all the time. We know and we understand, we're all in the mourning process. We understand that the America that we've known maybe will not exist in the way it has before. But the America that's to come is left to be built by whoever is brave enough to do it. So I take courage right now, because I recognize that in these scary moments, there are people who want to build another society. They know that this is a time for building new societies, and they want to shape it in their image. And I'm telling you that we need to shape it in ours, that we need to be a part of this, that this is not a time to step back. It's a time to step forward. It's a time to go and get people and bring them with us. Passive action will not do. If we are going to save our institutions and our research, if we are going to save America's real strength, which is not our military, no shade to it. It is not our nuclear armaments. Our real power is in our intelligence. It's in our research. It's in their brilliance. It's in creating and saving lives. It's in attracting worldwide talent who want to come right here to Pitt or CMU in Pittsburgh, and they want to stay here, and they want to build a better society with you. And we can't let them stop us from doing that. So I'm going to leave us right there, y'all.
This assault is being conducted by a whole network of well-funded government and non-state actors, and it's been underway for years. Talk to your friends and colleagues in Florida and Texas about that. There's not going to be a senator have you no shame moment here. This assault is structural. And it's structural, again, because what we do undermines their politics, and they understand that. We threaten them because our work exposes the lies that they use to divide people and to frighten them and to enrage them. They can't have intellectuals running around telling people that burning fossil fuels is bad, or that there are racial disparities in health or education or incarceration, or that Europe underdeveloped Africa, or that we all have a spoonful of microplastic in our brains, or that our country's wealth is rooted in slavery and the expropriation of native land, or that gender is a social construct, or that vaccines work. They can't tolerate that, so they have to shut us down. And in true Orwellian fashion, they do it in the name of free speech and viewpoint diversity. which, by the way, is just a scam to rehabilitate debunked and discredited ideas. I don't see them worrying about the lack of Marxists over at the business school. So we have to come together and fight against all of this stuff. When I say all of it, I mean all of it, even when it's uncomfortable, and even when we might not agree with the views that are being attacked. Eva Chernyavsky and Amit Baisha in a recent blog post wrote that, quote, "Seeding on Palestine is seeding everything. Either we insist that academic knowledge production as such, be it on climate change, public health, gender, sexuality, race, coloniality, and yes, Israel-Palestine, must be robustly defended against state intervention, or we lose the battle before it has begun." If we accept that it's okay to arrest and deport people for the ideas they hold, we're sunk. We can't cede anything. They're attacking us because they understand, perhaps better than we do, that we are strong. Together, we are strong. And so we have to fight together. We have a responsibility to fight for each other and for our students and for our institutions and for our country. So join your union or form one. Join the AAUP. Sign the letter. Get involved. Let's fight together.